Oh yeah, it's time to talk about cutting weight. Get light. Ooh. So, the way that I like to do it is I like to draw an almost unbearably hot bath. And I, sorry about the acoustics in here. It's probably going to be very hard to understand me. So I'm going to lower my volume. So I draw the bath. Before it reaches the top, I usually stuff a rag in here. The best way to do that is to double over the rag and then shimmy it back and forth up and then stuff it from the sides. And it usually pinches and holds from the sides and holds the middle, and you don't get a lot of leaking. Otherwise, this is going to drain very quickly in the next phase of this cut. So we've already filled it to where we think is good. Everybody's going to change because they're everybody's absolute water content in the bath is going to change because they have different size baths and they have different size bodies, and that's totally fine. But what you should know is when you submerge yourself like you see I'm about to do, you should have a spotter in the room because some people get woozy and pass out and you can drown and die. That's not good. And you should also know that the water, it is advantageous for you to push the water about as high as it can go without overflowing. So with that being said, I'm just going to keep talking until I get down in position, and then we're gonna see what I'm talking about. So the way that I like to do this is I push back until my head can barely fit, and then I usually cross my legs, crisscross applesauce, like in elementary school. Push my knees down a little bit. Again, we're trying to push all the heat from the bath into our body, and then I slowly drop my arms into the water and make sure that we're not overfilling the bath, and then we just hang out right here. You basically only want your face out of the water. My knees are out of the water, but that's okay. And you hang out here for about 15 minutes if you can. Sometimes you can only do 10, sometimes only 5. Then you're gonna get out and stay in the room, which should be a closed door, but right now it's not. Should be a closed room. You get out of the bath and you can keep your feet in the bath for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then you get out of the room for 5 minutes. And this kind of allows the body to not go into a freak out mode, and you can actually, it's doing weird things in my ears. You can actually push your body further into giving up more water than it would otherwise if you were just consistently in the bath. So this is the tactic that I like to use. I used to use saunas. I like hot baths better. They just seem to not dry out my skin. It doesn't irritate my nervous system as much. Sometimes when you go too hard in a sauna, you get like fried, like you get this weird adrenal response and you are like fried. And I've never really gotten that with the bath. So that's just what I notice. You know, everybody's a little bit different, so people might find that different things work differently for them, but you're here to see what I do, right? And so actually, so you know, I will not be filming tomorrow morning because I'll be focusing on cutting. Right now I'm doing what's called a time trial, so I'm taking notes on, taking 3 weights taking 3 weights on my body on the scale, and then recording when I sit in the bath, when I get out of the bath, and then drying off and taking my weight again, and then waiting like a half hour or so, drying off, taking my weight again. And this is so I can get some kind of projection of where my body's going to be giving up water and know that it's going to be less than that tomorrow morning, so I'm going to need more time. So, hope that makes sense to a lot of people. Again, we're aiming to get underweight just in time to show up like an hour before weigh-ins, right? Because we want to be down to weight for as little time as possible and then weigh in as early as possible so we can replenish, rehydrate, and be our best on the day of the contest. So, I think that's about all I got to say on this. Talked about going through how I cut, talked about what I'm doing right now, which is that time trial thing. Time trial is not essential to this process, especially if you only need to lose like 5 pounds. You can wake up 3 hours early and almost everybody can sweat out 5 pounds in a scalding hot bath. So anyway, I will share that data with you guys in the next video, and I'm not going to film me cutting most likely unless there's some funny things that come up because I need to stay focused for that and I might be kind of miserable. So yeah.